Keyonte George did not shoot well coming in off the bench. There were some other performances
Memphis
that we'll
is
get to that
super
were
fast.
positives, but it just wasn't from
Jazz
the players
shot
you
super
would
crooked.
necessarily expect.
The starting lineup
Expect
change will
a
make
need
most
on the road
get
in a
most of
game
our
like
attention.
this. I think
it's all next.
I like the Jazz
on
the way they
POSTCAST.
compete.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, they just couldn't make shots.
Utah
But
Jazz.
those three guys making
See you,
shots
Eric.
are pretty important.
Bye, Eric.
Lauri was 5
Oh,
of
I thought you
14,
were
1 of 8
waving. I
from
thought it was
3,
waving.
11 points. Collin, 5 of 17
All right, we'll
from the
start the
field,
show
1
with
of
me
8
saying
from
goodbye to
3.
people that are
He had
staying.
20 points. A lot of
You
that
know what,
damage coming at the
that
line.
was similar to our three-point shooting. It was inaccurate.
In the first half.
That's Eric
And
Castleton.
then
He's the great
Keyonte
Memphis
George
announcer.
off the bench, 3 of 15, 0 of 8 from 3, just 8
This
points
one's
for him.
not
The Jazz
super
were led by
complicated tonight.
Collin.
There's a lot
who
of
had,
storylines. There's a
20
lot to talk
points.
about. It's an interesting game.
Svi,
Will Hardy
Mahaluk
did
had
something
16,
that, is the
and
headline,
then
which
a
is
few
Keyonte
guys
did
with
not
11.
start tonight.
Lauri with
But
11.
if we go to the game,
Walker
this one's
Kessler
easy.
with another double-double,
Go on the
11
road.
points and
the
10
old rule in
boards.
the league is
Elijah
your veterans play well on
Harkless,
the road, your rookies
coming
don't.
in off the bench.
Starters
coach,
play
a
well on the
career
road, your
high,
bench players don't.
11
Right?
points
That's
for
the whole
him.
story. League.
And then
It's hard to be
Kyle
available
Filipowski
leading scorers
also added
tonight. Were
11.
Lauri, Markkanen, and Collin
Those
Sexton, and
bench
Keyonte
guys,
George,
you
and they
know,
were 0
played
of 22 from
pretty
3.
well together, and
Until-
certainly if you look at the differential.
Hey,
and
where's our
plus
engineer?
minus,
Can
they-
you
they
grab
hold
him
their
because we're
own.
getting double audio right now?
Even Elijah Harkless in his 22 minutes was plus. So, that first group inability
They're saying
to make
we're
shots,
getting
and
double
keep the
audio
game
right now.
close there in the third.
Is there anything
was,
else
to
you're
me,
feeding
was
us?
the difference.
Taking a look at
There's another interview playing in the background. Maybe it's off so it could be off my computer, but I don't think so. Let's see. Has it gone away yet? There's another interview playing in the background. Are you getting anything else sending? Okay. We're sorry. We're not sure why this is happening. Okay. It's gone. All right. Could have been me. Could have been off my computer. Shouldn't have been, but could have been. But it's gone. All right. Great. Thank you very much. So back to where I was. The story is that Keyonte, Collin, and Lauri, who are the Jazz 3 leading scorers available tonight, go 0 of 22 for 3 to start until there's a minute and a half left in the game. And at that point, I also think we're about 11 of 45 from the field. You're playing Memphis. They're good. They're the second best team in the West. They're really hard to handle. It's kind of amazing the Jazz stayed in the game for as long as they did. They were within 9 at the half. I guess that means you're going to lose by 18, which is eventually what they kind of did. But they were within 8 at the half. But you don't have a chance if those 3 guys don't make shots.
I'm beginning to think that the style of play that they use, you have to have athletes on the other end in order to compete with, a ton of athletes, meaning, say the Golden State Warriors of last year or 2 years ago would be a team that would be equivalent, play as fast, and make shots. But right now, the way the team is playing, I love it. I like the fact that they just play basketball and they got the athletes to do it.
It's super interesting. So what Memphis, it's interesting because nobody in the league, inside the league, wants to say they're playing differently. Yet they totally are playing differently.
Yes, they
I
are.
hate to say this to people in the league because everyone's kind of. But the traditional NBA possession is you rush the ball up the floor if you're playing with tempo. A lot of players just walk the ball up the floor. But let's say you rush the ball up the floor and you look for an early offense, and if it's not there, then you get into something.
Correct.
What they do is they rush the ball up the floor and just attack. And even if something's not there, then they might swing it a little bit. They did it much less against us. In a lot of other games, they'll bring the ball up the floor, and then they run kind of a minor brush screen to start, and then the ball just starts moving, and somebody attacks, and they fix their spacing as the possession goes, and they just move the ball. They're not waiting for that pick and roll. They're not waiting for that off-ball screen. They're not waiting for anything. So they just come at you downhill early.
Well, so what's happening here is that most teams will push the ball up the floor like you were talking about. Get the ball over the timeline. Now getting into their offense, they got an extra 2 or 3 seconds on the clock in order to get into their offense. And maybe they can get to a second option off of the play that they want to run. It's not the case with them. They push the basketball up the floor and they immediately attack because that is their style. That's their offense. That's what they want. That's how they want to play. They could care less about the shot clock and how many extra seconds they have, because how many times did they even come close to using the shot clock in the ball game?
Well, the other thing you pointed out so well, it's not the ball that's running. It's the four other guys.
Four other guys, exactly.
And they're ahead of the ball most of the time.
Yeah.
But they play in transition 33% of their opponents' misses.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was tonight. I would guess it was probably higher. We allow the most transition in the league. They get the most transition in the league, so that's unique. All right, the headline tonight is that Keyonte George, 16th pick of the draft a year ago, who has been the Jazz starting point guard early last year, then got out of the starting lineup and then went back in the starting lineup on February 8th of last year and started every game this year, did not start tonight. And it was pretty clear that this is like, hey, we've been asking for a little bit more on this and a little bit more there and a little bit more of that, and we're not getting it, and so we're making a change. And then Keyonte came out and was incredibly aggressive offensively, which was, I do not think the reason that he was taken out of the starting lineup was his offense. He took 9 shots, I think, in the opening 9 minutes in which he played. And overall for the night, he finished 3 of 15 in 33 minutes. He cooled down the shooting a little bit. He did have 7 assists. His assist numbers, really interestingly, his assist numbers have gone way up recently since he started playing off the ball. He also has gone to the free throw line more in recent games. He only went twice tonight. But let's just go big picture. I think the phrase on this is probably that growing up is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Walker was kind of in the midst of this last year, if you remember, and Walker's pretty good today, so I don't know we need to jump off a cliff. But it's newsworthy. Let's not pretend that's not newsworthy that Keyonte was out of the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah. Without us speculating on why or coming up with I guess we could come up with our own opinions. I'd be curious to find out.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Will has in multiple press conferences talked about Keontae's defense.
Okay, so
defensive side ball,
not necessarily.
Yeah, I'm just taking Will's press. I listen to every Will press conference. We get home tonight. I'll watch his press conference. It's happening right now. He has talked about his defense in multiple occasions, and he has openly talked about the fact that on offense, I'm not worried about whether the ball goes in, it's whether you make the right decisions.
Okay,
those are his 2 standards. So he's not fulfilling one of those 2 standards, and I'm pretty certain I know which 2 it was. But he also didn't play 0 minutes, right? It's not like he got banished to Ogden and he's never playing again. No offense to Ogden. Okay, he didn't get banished to Tulsa, Oklahoma. There, I don't know. But right, he still played 30 minutes today. He's still part of it, but he just didn't start.
Yeah. So whether it's an individual defense or he's not reading the team defense or the kind of defense that they want to play that night against certain opponents, if that's not getting done, or is it this flat up individual defense, trying to stay in front of your man, not getting beat on the backside, those type of things that when you're watching film, they pointed out time and time again. So maybe that's the point. You're getting beat by the same way with the same player, night in, night out. Now there's a problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll give Will Hardy credit. If you listen to him, we listen to him all the time. He's wildly consistent. There haven't been a lot of different standards floating around for 3 years. Play hard and pass.
Correct.
Right? Play hard and pass. And that's kind of the standard. And that's what he's made.
And that started last season.
Right. I mean, that's been where he has been the whole time. We'll talk a little bit more about there's more to this than that. And I think the really question is, I'm going to go into Ron Boone's bag of tricks here for a second. As a veteran player and someone in the league, and I'm assuming that Ron probably never got taken out of the starting lineup, but you've been around this thing long enough to be able to see. And the question is, how do you react once you were taken out of the starting lineup? I think that's really the question now that I think comes into play for Keyonte and the Jazz. Time now. This broadcast and this message is brought to you in part by our friends over at TurboTax today. It is, yes, I'm sorry. I always feel kind of bad whenever I start one of these reads about taxes because it means it's tax season. But this is a good one because Intuit TurboTax is there for you. Taxes are waiting, wondering, and worrying. If you're going to get any money back, well, then waiting and wondering and worrying some more. No, don't do that. Taxes is going to get done with matching with TurboTax Expert, who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives you your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you're getting real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible, file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. All you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now, this is taxes. Get an expert now at TurboTax. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantee. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. For the first whistle of the final deal, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more fun and exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bucks in bonus bets. If you win your first bet, that's win your first bet. You get $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite teams or just looking to add some excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has you covered. Visit FanDuel.com. Join today. Get started. $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable. The FanDuel official sportsbook partner. Who you got tomorrow? Chiefs, Bills.
Chiefs, are you kidding?
Who you got? Eagles, Commanders.
I'm going with the Commanders.
Okay.
Yes, they need my support.
All right.
It's been, from what I understand, it's been many years.
All right. What do you want to see out of Keyonte George over the next? Let's say he comes off the bench for the next 2 weeks. Give him, I mean, we can't do this game-to-game thing. That's not fair. We can't suddenly say, okay, he went 3 of 5, whatever he went tonight, 3 of 15, and like, all right. So we need a stretch of time for him. 10, 15 games. This is how. What do you want to see from him?
I think what I want to see, and I think what coaches want to see there, is improvement. If he's showing improvement, I mean, he just doesn't have to have 4 or 5 unbelievable games or something like that. If they see improvement, they see he's working very, very hard, then I think possibly he gets changed back. Now, as long as he's not trying to win his job back shooting the basketball, thinking he needs to score in order to win his job back. This is a tough situation for a player that's probably have never come off the bench in his career.
Right.
And is it being demoted, knowing that you're 16th player picked in the draft, and I have a ton of talent. I should be starting.
Well, I think
I'm better than you.
Like, I think I'm going to be
kind of
like, he thinks, like, I don't, and this is good. This is good. What about, he thinks he's going to be a 23, 24 point a game scorer, a la John Morant, NBA All-Star. Right? Like, that's what a 20-year-old thinks they're going to be.
Okay.
We can, like, you and I can sit here in our seats and analyze whether we think he has any chance to do that. But a kid who's been at one point like the top 5 recruit, and this and that, like, he thinks he's going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
Like, it is true to him right now. He might have some doubts right now, but it is harder like that. But that's what you kind of want him to believe. But then how do you learn how to play, right? Like, how do you make the – Alec Burks and I talked about this year. When Alec Burks was like, yeah, I thought I was going to be an all-star. I thought I was going to score 24 points a game in the league. I mean, that's where this is coming from. Like, AB, what were you – like, what? You thought what? Like, but he did.
Yeah.
And then the league humbled him, and then he decided he wanted to stick around. And now he's made an extra $30 million by just not being a jerk and playing hard every night.
Okay, so Keyonte's third year?
Second year.
No, 23. 24.
No, this is his second year. He's played 100
24.
games.
Yeah, okay. So
not even. Still a baby.
Still a baby. Hopefully he can correct things. And again, you can win your job back by playing hard. And I'm sure there's been conversations with Will about what you're not doing, not so much what you are doing.
Right.
And that's where you start to correct things.
All right. Reliability pluses tonight.
I only have 2.
Elijah Harkless.
And Eubank.
For getting ejected?
Yes.
You like a little of that.
I like it.
Drew Eubanks got ejected. It's an interesting play. I didn't think that was going to be the end result.
Toughness, man.
Yeah, a little toughness.
God.
All right, Jazz fall tonight. Killer Nation says Bills Commanders in the finals
We'll go Commanders Chiefs.
And Lacey wants to know if Eubanks swore.
If he's what?
If he swore, if he got kicked out for swearing. Have a good night,
I doubt
everybody.
that.
We appreciate it. You guys are great. Thank you for sticking with us. Sorry for the double audio to start. Have a good one. See you.